What if I told you that some of the most beautiful, thriving houseplants you could possibly grow don't need a single grain of soil? And that your great-grandmother already knew this, growing them in glass jars on her windowsill long before anyone invented a fancy potting mix? Most people don't realize this, but there are plants out there that don't just survive in water. They actually prefer it. No soil, no mess, no fungus gnats, no complicated watering schedule where you guess whether it's too wet or too dry. Just a glass of water, some light, and a plant that grows faster and more beautifully than it ever did in a pot. Stick around because plant number 14 on this list can transform a bare stem, no leaves, no roots, nothing, into a thriving, growing plant in under 2 weeks. Just a stick in water. And plant number 20 is something you can start today with a vegetable sitting in your kitchen right now. And within a month, it will be producing trailing vines so beautiful you'll think you bought them at a garden center. Subscribe if you want simple, beautiful, science-backed growing knowledge every single week. Now here are 20 indoor plants that thrive in only water, ranked from impressive to absolutely incredible. Number 1. Pothos, also called devil's ivy, and the nickname is earned. College students have been growing this plant in water for decades, forgetting about it for weeks at a time, and coming back to find it not just alive, but thriving. Epipremnum aureum produces long cascading vines with heart-shaped leaves, solid green, golden yellow, or splashed with white. Take a cutting with a few leaves and at least one node, drop it in a glass of water, and within a week, you'll see roots forming. Within a month, you'll have a root system that looks like an underwater forest. Here's what makes Pothos genuinely special. It develops specialized water roots, structurally different from its soil roots, perfectly designed to absorb oxygen and nutrients directly from water. This isn't survival adaptation. This is a plant with 2 separate root systems depending on how it grows. Hydroponic studies confirm what plant lovers have always known. Pothos grows as vigorously in water as in soil, sometimes more. Change the water every 1 to 2 weeks to keep it oxygenated. That is the entire care routine. Think of it as the gateway plant to water culture, the one that proves how simple and beautiful this can be. Number 2 doesn't actually belong to the plant family its name suggests, and that deception is part of what makes it so fascinating. Number 2, lucky bamboo. And here's the twist nobody tells you, it's not bamboo at all. Dracaena sanderiana produces those distinctive segmented stalks that look exactly like bamboo, but it's a completely different plant, one that has been grown in water in Asian homes and businesses for centuries, specifically because water is where it wants to live. Garden centers sell lucky bamboo in decorative containers of water and pebbles, and those pebbles aren't for nutrition. They're just to keep the stalks upright. The plant itself evolved along riverbanks where its roots stay submerged, which means water culture isn't an adaptation for lucky bamboo. It's the natural state. The stalks can live for years in the same container, producing new leaves continuously and growing taller over time without ever touching soil. Keep the water level consistent, covering the roots in about an inch of the stalks. Change it every 2 to 3 weeks. Use filtered water if your tap is heavily chlorinated. Lucky bamboo is sensitive to chlorine. That's it. Think of it as a living sculpture that maintains itself, asking only for fresh water and a spot by the window. Number 3 has been growing in kitchen water glasses since your great-grandmother's time. Modern research finally explains why it works so well. Number 3. Heartleaf philodendron, one of the most classic houseplants in the world, thriving in water on kitchen windowsills for generations. These trailing vines with glossy heart-shaped leaves root faster and more reliably in water than almost any other tropical plant. Philodendron heteroecium takes a cutting, puts it in water, and within days produces root nubs. Within 2 weeks, a developing root system. Within a month, new leaves unfurling. Modern research confirms what those kitchen windowsill growers always knew. Philodendrons develop permanent water root systems, complete root architecture adapted to aquatic life, not temporary roots waiting for soil. Use a clear glass container so you can watch the roots develop. Change the water weekly. Place in bright, indirect light. The plant grows continuously, vine after vine of glossy leaves cascading from a shelf or climbing a support. Think of it as the plant that literally shows you its roots growing day by day, reminding you that sometimes the simplest approach is the most beautiful one. Number 4 is the plant that propagates itself and hands you the results. It literally produces its own offspring and drops them into your hands. Number 4, spider plant. And it has a built-in feature that makes it uniquely perfect for water culture. It produces baby plants called spiderets that arrive with tiny root systems already started. Nature designed them to drop into water and begin growing immediately. Chlorophytum comosum sends out long arching stems that develop into plantlets, each one dangling like an ornament ready to be snipped off and placed in water. Take a plantlet with even the tiniest root nubs visible, place it in a small glass of water, and within a week, those roots will have tripled in length. Visible progress every single day. Studies show spider plants are remarkably adaptable, which explains their century-long popularity as houseplants. Grow them indefinitely in water, change it weekly, and they develop into full-size plants that produce their own babies. A continuous, self-replicating supply of new plants for free. Think of it as a plant that does the propagation work itself, handing you offspring and saying, "Put this in water and watch what happens." Number 5 looks too elegant, too exotic for something as simple as a glass of water. It surprises everyone. Number 5. Peace lily. And most people don't realize this plant can live long-term in water. These elegant plants with glossy leaves and distinctive white blooms seem too sophisticated for water culture. But they adapt surprisingly, beautifully well. Spathiphyllum species grow naturally on tropical forest floors where soil stays consistently moist. And that moisture preference translates directly to water culture. The key is patience during the transition. The plant needs to develop specialized water roots to replace its soil roots. Gently wash all soil from the roots. Place in water, changing it every few days initially as old root material breaks down. Within a few weeks, new water roots develop and the plant begins thriving. Once established, change water weekly, keep the roots submerged without submerging the crown, provide bright, indirect light. The plant continues producing new leaves and, once settled, those distinctive white blooms. What makes this remarkable is that water culture actually prevents the overwatering that kills most potted peace lilies. Think of it as the sophisticated plant that proves water culture isn't just for trailing vines. It can support genuine elegance. If you're already thinking about which of these you want to start first, there's a complete guide in the first pinned comment below that walks you through exactly how to set each one up, which containers work best, and how to keep the water healthy long-term. It's there whenever you need it. Now let's keep going, because the next 15 plants are where it gets really interesting. Number 6. Chinese evergreen. And this is where water culture gets visually stunning. These plants produce leaves that look hand-painted in combinations of silver, pink, red, and cream. They look too exotic to be easy. But the same toughness that makes them survive dark corners also makes them surprisingly adaptable to water. Aglaonema species have been popular houseplants since Victorian times precisely because they tolerate conditions that would destroy other plants. In water, that adaptability works in your favor. The plants develop robust water root systems that sustain even large specimens indefinitely. Those colorful leaf patterns maintain their vibrancy in water culture, sometimes intensifying in color with adequate light. Start with stem cuttings with several leaves, which root reliably in water within 2 to 3 weeks. Once established, the plant grows steadily, unfurling new leaves with their distinctive patterns every few weeks. Change the water weekly. Watch for cloudiness, which signals it needs changing more frequently. Think of it as a living stained glass window that maintains itself, asking for nothing but fresh water and your appreciation. Number 7 has been trailing from cottage window bottles for centuries. The charm is completely justified by the science. Number 7. English ivy. And this plant has been growing in water on cottage windowsills for centuries, trailing gracefully down from glass bottles and creating living curtains of green. It roots so quickly in water that you can watch the transformation happen almost in real time. Hedera helix naturally grows in moist, shaded environments where its aerial roots cling to tree bark and stone walls. Those same roots adapt perfectly to water culture, developing into robust white root systems that sustain vigorous growth for years. Take cuttings in spring or summer with several leaves and at least 2 nodes. Place in water. Within a week, root nubs. Within 2 weeks, functional roots. Within a month, new growth actively visible. The plant continues growing indefinitely, trailing longer and fuller over time. Traditional use was exactly this. multiple cuttings in decorative glass bottles, creating dense cascades of foliage. Change the water weekly. Provide bright indirect light, though ivy tolerates lower light better than most plants on this list. Think of it as the plant that brings the charm of an old English cottage to any modern space, requiring nothing but a glass container and weekly water changes. Number 8 produces leaves that look hand-painted, and the color actually intensifies in water when you get the light right. Number 8. Coleus. And this plant explodes with color in water culture. Leaves painted in combinations of red, pink, purple, yellow, and green. And despite being grown as outdoor annuals, Coleus thrives indoors in water almost indefinitely. Take a cutting from a parent plant, remove the lower leaves, place the stem in water, and within 3 to 5 days, you'll see roots emerging. Within 2 weeks, a substantial root system. The color intensity in the leaves actually improves in water culture when the plant receives adequate light. This is confirmed in modern hydroponic research, not just observed by growers. You can create stunning displays by growing multiple Coleus varieties together in clear containers, mixing colors and patterns. The plants grow quickly enough that you can go from small cuttings to a full bushy display in 2 months. Change the water twice weekly because these fast-growing plants consume nutrients quickly and can cloud the water. Provide bright indirect light for the most intense colors. Pinch back growing tips to encourage bushiness. Think of it as a painting that grows and changes, refreshing itself with new colors and patterns every few weeks. Number 9 surprises everyone. This plant looks too fancy, too exotic for plain water culture. It thrives in it. Number 9. Cane begonia, also called angel wing begonia. And these plants with their dramatic spotted foliage and clusters of delicate flowers adapt beautifully to water culture and can thrive for years without ever touching soil. Begonias grow as epiphytes in their native habitats, clinging to tree branches, absorbing moisture from humid air. That adaptation to consistent moisture without saturated roots translates perfectly to water culture, where roots get both moisture and oxygen simultaneously. Take a stem cutting with several leaves, remove the bottom leaves, place in water. Within a week, roots begin forming. Within 3 weeks, a functional root system. The plant continues growing, producing new leaves and even flowering in water if it receives adequate light. Use clean water changed twice weekly. Provide bright indirect light and a container that supports the stems as they grow taller. Some cane begonias reach 2 feet tall in water culture, producing cascades of leaves and flowers. Think of it as the plant that proves water culture isn't just for tough basic plants. It can support genuinely exotic beauty. Number 10 grows so fast in water that you can measure the progress weekly. Most people are completely unprepared for how quickly this happens. Number 10. Arrowhead plant. And this is where water culture gets exciting fast. These plants grow so quickly in water that you can measure progress every single week, watching new leaves unfurl and vines extend with remarkable speed. Syngonium podophyllum produces arrow-shaped leaves in solid green, variegated white or pink, or multiple colors. Here's what makes them special. They produce aerial roots along their stems naturally, so when you place a cutting in water, the structures needed to become water roots are already there. Within days, those aerial roots expand and begin functioning. Take cuttings with several leaves and nodes. Within 1 week, visible root growth. Within a month, new leaves actively unfurling, then repeating continuously. Modern hydroponics confirms arrowhead plants actually prefer consistent moisture. They grow faster, produce more vibrant colors, and develop fuller foliage than in soil. Change the water weekly. Provide bright indirect light. Think of it as watching time-lapse photography in real time. Number 11 roots faster than almost anything on this list. We're talking about seeing results within 48 hours of placing the cutting in water. Number 11. Silver inch plant, also called Dracaena zebrina. And this plant has one of the most dramatic propagation stories in all of water culture. It roots so fast you can literally watch it happen. Dracaena zebrina produces trailing stems covered in leaves striped with silver and purple, with deep purple undersides that create stunning contrast. The plant gets its common name from the fact that it can grow an inch per day under good conditions, and that growth rate applies to root development too. Here's what makes this special. The plant produces visible root nubs at every node along its stems. When you take a cutting and place it in water, you're not waiting for roots to form. You're watching existing root structures activate and expand. Take cuttings with at least 3 leaves. Remove the bottom leaves, place in water. Check back in 2 days. You'll see obvious root growth. Within a week, the root system is substantial enough to support active new growth above the waterline. Modern plant science confirms this. Some plants have extremely active meristematic tissue that responds to water by producing roots almost immediately. Tradescantia is among the fastest. Change water every 3 to 5 days. Provide bright indirect light for the most intense purple coloring. Think of it as the plant so eager to grow it practically shows off. Number 12 is the one everyone recognizes from design magazines and Instagram feeds. Most people assume it needs complicated care. It doesn't. Number 12. Monstera. Those massive, iconic split leaves that appear on every design mood board can actually live long-term in water. Not small cuttings. Substantial plants with those characteristic perforations growing in nothing but water. Monstera deliciosa naturally develops thick aerial roots. And those aerial roots are exactly what make it so surprisingly well-suited to water culture. They transform into powerful water roots that can sustain large plants indefinitely. Take a cutting that includes at least 1 leaf and 1 aerial root. Place in a large container of water. These are substantial plants that need substantial space. Within weeks, the existing aerial root adapts and new water roots develop from nodes along the stem. Add liquid fertilizer to the water every 2 weeks because plants this size need nutrients that plain water alone cannot provide. Change the water weekly. New leaves will continue appearing. And with good light and consistent nutrients, those leaves will develop the characteristic splits and holes. Research on hydroponic Monstera confirms they can thrive indefinitely without soil when nutrients are supplemented. Think of it as the showpiece plant that proves water culture can go far beyond cuttings in a glass. Number 13 looks like a weed in its dormant state. A bare, leafless stick. Put it in water and watch what happens. Number 13. Dieffenbachia, one of the boldest foliage patterns of any houseplant, with large leaves painted in creamy white patterns and spots. And here's the remarkable part. You can take what looks like a dead stick and turn it into a thriving plant using nothing but water. Dieffenbachia species naturally drop lower leaves as they age, leaving bare stems below the leaf clusters at the top. Cut those bare stems into sections with several nodes. Place in water. Within 2 weeks, roots below and new shoots sprouting from the top. Within a month, a developing plant with new leaves unfurling. The transformation from bare stick to growing plant seems almost impossible the first time you see it. Modern experience confirms that Dieffenbachia actually prefers consistent moisture and suffers from the wet-dry cycles that come with pot culture. In water where moisture is constant, the plants thrive with fewer problems. Use stem sections 4 to 6 inches long with at least 1 node submerged. Change water weekly. Provide bright indirect light. Think of it as giving old plants a second life, transforming what looked like waste into beautiful new specimens. Number 14. Dracaena, the bare stem that becomes a plant. This is the one I teased at the beginning. Take a stem section with no leaves, no visible roots, just a woody section of cane. Put it in water. Within 2 weeks, it will have both roots growing down and new shoots emerging from the top. A bare stick becomes a living plant. Dracaena marginata and related species produce those distinctive spiky leaves on woody stems that become the architectural statement plants of modern interior design. They don't grow fast, and in water culture, that patience is part of their value. They establish slowly and then stay stable for years, adding growth quietly without creating problems or demanding attention. Start from stem cuttings or transition small potted plants. Important. Use distilled or filtered water because Dracaenas are sensitive to fluoride in tap water, which causes the brown leaf tips that frustrate so many people growing them in pots. Change water every 2 weeks. Provide moderate light. That is the entire care routine. Think of it as the plant that proves water culture can support long-term, stable growth. Not just fast-growing novelties, but plants that will still be thriving years from now. Number 15 is the houseplant that moves. Every single night, it folds its leaves up like hands in prayer. And water culture actually makes this behavior more pronounced. Prayer plant. And this plant brings something no other plant on this list has. Movement. The leaves fold upward at night like hands pressed together in prayer, then open again in the morning. In water culture, this movement continues naturally and the plant is visibly alive in a way that few houseplants achieve. Maranta leuconura produces leaves painted with red or white veins on green backgrounds that track light during the day and fold at night in a behavior called nyctinasty. Prayer plants naturally grow on tropical forest floors in consistently moist, humid environments. And water culture provides exactly that moisture. The evaporating water creates a microclimate of humidity around the leaves. Take cuttings with at least 2 leaves and several nodes. Place in water in bright, filtered light, never direct sun, which burns the leaves. Within 2 weeks, roots develop. Within a month, new growth appears with the characteristic patterns intact. Modern research confirms many tropical houseplants prefer hydroponic conditions because they eliminate the root rot risk that comes with overwatered soil. Prayer plants demonstrate this clearly. Think of it as the houseplant with its own personality, one that interacts with you every single day through its movements, morning and night. Number 16 gives you the look of Monstera's famous split leaves in a package that fits on a normal shelf in a normal apartment. Number 16. Monstera adansonii, also called Swiss cheese vine. And this plant brings the visual impact of its famous relative in a completely manageable size that's perfect for water culture. Monstera adansonii produces leaves 6 to 8 inches long with natural perforations that create the distinctive Swiss cheese appearance while staying far more compact than Monstera deliciosa and rooting quickly in water. All the visual appeal, none of the overwhelming size. Take cuttings with 2 or 3 leaves and at least 1 node. Place in water. Within a week, roots begin forming. Within 3 weeks, substantial root systems develop. The plant grows quickly enough to be satisfying but doesn't immediately outgrow its container. Leaves continue developing their perforations and new vines extend steadily. Like its larger relative, it benefits from liquid fertilizer added to the water every other week. Monstera species naturally grow as epiphytes in the wild, adapted to get water and nutrients from sources other than traditional soil. So water culture simply mimics their natural conditions. Think of it as getting the exotic look without the overwhelming size, perfect for real homes and real spaces. Number 17 is pure purple. Stems, leaves, everything. And it roots so fast the first time you see it, you'll think something went wrong, and then realize everything went exactly right. Number 17, purple heart. And this is the plant that roots in real time. Deep, rich purple on every stem and leaf. Place a cutting in water in the morning. Check back that evening and you'll see the beginning of roots forming. By the next day, those roots are clearly visible. By the end of the week, you have a fully rooted plant. Tradescantia pallida produces thick stems covered in lance-shaped purple leaves that intensify in color in good light, sometimes appearing almost black purple in certain conditions. Every node along those stems contains root structures ready to activate the moment they touch water. The speed is genuinely startling. Modern propagation science explains it. Some plants have extremely active meristematic tissue that responds to water presence by producing roots almost immediately. Purple heart is among the fastest of all common houseplants. Multiple cuttings in one container create a full, dramatic display in under 2 weeks. Change water weekly. Provide bright light for the deepest purple color. Pinch back growing tips to encourage fullness. The plant grows year-round without dormancy. Think of it as the plant that desperately wants you to succeed, showing you visible proof of progress before you have time to wonder if it's working. Number 18 is the only plant on this list you can eat. And growing it in water on your kitchen counter is the single best thing you can do for your cooking. Number 18, mint. And this plant brings something unique that nothing else on this list offers. You can harvest it and eat it. Fresh mint on your kitchen counter, growing in water, producing continuously. Mentha species root with remarkable speed in water. Take cuttings, remove the lower leaves, place in water, and within days you'll have roots. Within 2 weeks, enough new growth to start harvesting. Here's what makes mint exceptional. Harvesting actually stimulates more growth. Cut what you need, and the plant responds by branching and producing even more. Traditional soil herb gardening struggles with mint because it spreads aggressively. In water, that vigor is perfectly contained while still delivering abundant harvests. Change the water twice weekly because mint grows fast and clouds it quickly. Provide bright light, ideally a sunny window. Studies on herb cultivation show mint often produces more essential oils and more flavorful leaves in hydroponic conditions than in soil. Think of it as a farmer's market herb stand on your windowsill, producing free harvests continuously. Number 19 is the herb most people have wilting in the back of their fridge. Growing it in water on your counter changes that permanently. Number 19, basil. And this is the herb that every cook needs close at hand. Growing in water on the kitchen counter means fresh basil exactly where you need it. Visible and accessible, never wilting in the back of the fridge. Oxymum basilicum. Sweet basil, Thai basil, purple basil. Roots quickly from stem cuttings. Take the top 4 to 6 inches of stems, remove lower leaves, place in water. Within a week, roots forming. Within 2 weeks, functioning root systems and active growth. Each time you harvest leaves from the top, the plant branches and becomes bushier. You can maintain the same basil plant for months, continuously harvesting while new growth replaces what you take. Modern research on basil cultivation confirms it adapts well to hydroponic growing, often producing more aromatic, more flavorful leaves than soil-grown plants when given adequate light. Change water every 3 to 4 days because basil oils can cloud it faster than other plants. Provide the brightest available light. Basil is the sun lover of this list. Add diluted liquid fertilizer weekly to maintain vigorous growth. Think of it as having fresh ingredients on demand. No grocery store trip, no wilted disappointment. Just growth and flavor every time you reach for it. And now, number 20. The one I saved for last because it represents everything about this way of growing. You can start it today with something sitting in your kitchen right now, and within a month you'll have trailing vines beautiful enough to display anywhere in your home. Number 20. Sweet potato vine. And this is the plant that proves water culture doesn't have to start at a garden center. Take a sweet potato from your pantry. Organic works best since conventional potatoes are often treated with sprout inhibitors. Place it in a jar of water with the pointed end down and about half the potato submerged. That is all you do. Within a week, roots emerging from the bottom. Within 2 weeks, sprouts appearing from the top. Within a month, trailing vines with heart-shaped leaves growing down from your container. Within 2 months, those vines can be several feet long, producing leaves in solid green, purple, or variegated patterns depending on the variety. Here's what's remarkable about this. Sweet potatoes are storage organs packed with energy, specifically designed by nature to produce new plants. When you put one in water, you're activating processes that are ready and waiting to go. No special equipment, no expensive plants, no complicated care. Just a potato, water, light, and patience. This got called old-fashioned because it's something grandmothers did on their windowsills, but it works exactly as well today as it did then. Better even, because you can document it, share it, and inspire everyone around you to try. Think of it as the plant that reminds us that growing things doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. Sometimes the most impressive results come from the most basic ingredients you already have. Before I wrap up, I want to say something directly to you. You just watched through 20 plants. Every single one. Most people click away before the list reaches the plants they'll actually love the most. But you're still here, which tells me you're genuinely interested in building something beautiful with this. So here's what I want to offer you. The complete practical guide for everything we covered today, which containers work best for each plant, how to keep water healthy and clear, how to troubleshoot the problems that come up, and how to build a water garden that looks intentional and designed rather than accidental. And right now, for anyone who made it to the end of this video, I'm offering 20% off. Use the code FULLVIDEO at checkout. The link is in the first pinned comment below. No countdown. No pressure. Just my way of saying thank you to the people who show up and pay attention all the way through. The code is FULLVIDEO. It's waiting for you. 20 plants. None of them need soil. All of them can sit on your kitchen counter, your windowsill, your bathroom shelf. Clean, beautiful, and growing. No fungus gnats, no overwatering, no underwatering, no guessing. Your great-grandmother knew this. She grew trailing vines in glass jars on her windowsill because she had no choice. There was no fancy potting mix, no garden center, no complicated care routine. Just a plant, water, and light, and those plants grew beautifully. They still do. The simplest approach is often the best one, and water culture is living proof of that. Tell me in the comments, which plant are you starting with? Are you team trailing vines, team dramatic foliage, or team edible herbs? And if you're already growing something in water, I want to hear about it. Drop it below. I read every comment. Share this with someone who keeps killing their houseplants. Water culture might be exactly the approach that finally works for them. Subscribe and ring the bell. Next week, we go deeper into how to make water gardens look as beautiful as they grow. I'll see you in the next one.